BG3 gets another patch. We have some major companion fixes as well as major Minthara fixes, and even some updates to the PS5 and PC localization. Let's jump right into it. What's up, World Tripper? Back in the video, we're checking out all things BG3. And yeah, so we're already receiving another BG3 patch, although they do consider this a small update or hotfix number 9, which is just 3 days after the last hotfix number 8. Now, as always, they do have their opening statement with a few new updates. The main focal point of this opening statement is around the magic mirror, which goes on to say here, wish your hirelings looked a little more glamorous. Worry no longer. We've given it a kick, and the magic mirror will now allow your hirelings to change their appearance. The same restrictions apply as when you edit your TAV, but we hope this enables you to create the party of your dreams or someone else's nightmare. We can't wait to see it. In addition, you can now change your name through the magic mirror. They went on to mention saying that we'll be using this to add cool in front of every one of our characters, but you do you. Now, it's just a really cool change for the hireling stuff, and if you don't want to have to use companions, it's definitely nice to see that you'll be able to kind of form your own custom party there with that. And this almost adds like an additional layer to the game that wasn't there already. It's kind of cool to see them add simple but complex mechanics that are just a simple adjustment within the game itself or it mechanically, which then adds so much more depth into the actual game. Now, we do have some more changes here in the big changes section. Of course, they mentioned those two things with the magic mirror and the hirelings and the rename. There's some general crash fixes with unloading and quick loading a game. They also fixed another issue causing GPU crashes on PS5 Vulkan. And the PS5 actually does support Vulkan. I had to look into this because there was some confusion back in 2020. Seems like the support was added sometime recently, and yeah, so PS5 does support Vulkan. The only one it doesn't support is DirectX. They also fixed a major issue with split screen on PS5 that could cause a black screen when listening in on dialogue. They actually had a pretty big fix here for the spell casting, unpreparing spells, not removing their buffs if the spell was upcasted. I do wonder if that's going to apply to all of them, and I wonder if that's going to apply to the familiar. But it does seem that this is just mostly for buffs. They also had another fix for buffs here. If you were using a spell from a scroll and then you unprepared spells, that would lead to the buff being removed. Again, they got some good dialogue fixes in here, some character positioning and animations that they go over. Now, they have two big Minthara fixes here, and she's been getting a lot of fixes as of this late. They fixed a major issue with Minthara's companionship to unreliably trigger. So anybody that was having issues, hopefully that kind of is retroactive to the saves. However, at least now it seems like Minthara is more of a fully complete companion, and new people that do jump into this game will be able to experience that to the fullest there if they do intend on going that route. They also fixed a major dialogue bug that was happening right after a major story event, and it essentially wasn't properly triggering her dialogue. So some great Minthara fixes there. I'm really happy that they're going back and kind of fixing all the companions where they need to. The fact that this game is more fleshed out than it already was on release is just insane to me. They also did have another Vulkan fix here, but that was for geometry stretching bug that was introduced in hotfix 8. Thane also had a major fix here, causing an infinite leave join combat loot in certain circumstances. Basically, yeah, nullifying that entire encounter so you'd have to restart from the get-go. They also optimized the line of sight system for entities with no sight range like items. So some further NPC fixes there that will definitely help with the immersion. Another big update is that the localization is actually being updated. So Japanese localization is coming to the PC version as well as the PlayStation version in Japan on December 21st. I think I do remember there was a bunch of mods on Nexus that had the translation packs for those regions as well as some other regions. So it's good to see that they're continuing to update that and kind of improve in that situation as well. Now, again, they did consider this a small update slash hotfix, and so yeah, overall the patch isn't that large. However, to me, these are some pretty major bug fixes and fixes in general. So even though this is just a hotfix, to me, these are kind of major fixes here. I think to most AAA studios, this would be considered an actual patch. In fact, I can remember a few recent AAA titles that consider 2 to 3 things a patch. So the fact that Larian considers this a hotfix is just honestly awesome. And the fact they got it so quickly after hotfix 8. I think most companies would have waited and not got those changes out sooner. But I'd much more prefer these band-aid fixes as opposed to waiting for these larger patches that just don't feel impactful. Because eventually when they do come out, everybody's already either quit the game or people have left or it's kind of left a bad taste. And you don't want to stop your experience, especially in a single-player game and even MMOs or multiplayer games. I wish companies did this practice much more often, and I hope to see this trend more in AAA gaming. That should about cover for today's video. If you like and subscribe, until the next one. Deuces.